Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Investigating national security leaks. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Coming out of all the chaos surrounding the Russian hacking and President Trump's allegation that President Obama somehow tapped the Trump Tower during the campaign should be indictments against those who leak national security information. So out of chaos may come justice. Let's hope so. As we reported last night, there are only two stone-cold facts that we can report in this entire debacle. First, that General Michael Flynn was captured on a wiretap talking to the Russian ambassador, perhaps from Flynn's office in the Trump Tower. That tap happened, but we don't know who ordered it or how it went down. Obviously, the American people are entitled to know. Second fact is twofold. Someone leaked the conversations between Flynn and the Russian ambassador to the press. That's a felony, so we need to know who the leaker is. Associated with that, then Attorney General Loretta Lynch, working for President Obama, ordered the rules about shared intelligence information changed just days before the president left office, just days before Mr. Obama walked out the door. So why did Ms. Lynch do that? Did Mr. Obama order the change? Again, we need to know. It's very important because by national security agency sharing raw information, unvetted, with the FBI, CIA, and other intel agencies, you open up the potential for leaks, and that's exactly what happened. As soon as President Trump walked into the Oval Office, his phone calls to the Mexican president, to the Australian Prime Minister, and to other high-level officials were leaked to the press. So in effect, the Obama administration may have, I emphasize may, created chaos for the Trump administration by allowing unsubstantiated intelligence information to be spread across a number of agencies. This is big. If that were done intentionally to harm the incoming president, Mr. Trump, that's subversion. So you can see that Congress must get to the bottom of the situation. Right now, there are investigations in the House and in the Senate to find out if Russian officials colluded with the Trump campaign. As we reported last night, so far there's no evidence of that. We also don't know anything solid about the wiretaps and leaks concerning Donald Trump.
A fact that somebody broke the law and leaked information about a wiretap which involved an American citizen. That's a felony. That's a fact. Somebody out there is committing felonies. It is a fact that some of the people that they have been picking up on wiretaps were in Trump Towers, were in the Trump campaign, which had no meaning in terms of what that person was doing. It is a fact that the New York Times and Washington Post, for example, grossly exaggerated, smeared Attorney General Sessions, committed what Mark Thiessen, the columnist, calls an act of McCarthyism in deliberately smearing him. And when you read what they charged him with, he had met with the Russian ambassador in his Senate offices. Well, it turned out so had Nancy Pelosi, so had Senator Claire McCaskill. I mean, you go down the list. It's an absurdity. So what you have is a left-wing news media still fighting against Trump, using every excuse, leaking whenever they can, and then piously saying, oh, gee, what's your evidence? And if you read the Times stories recently, they're all unnamed people. Sources say.
And I think Trump supporters would agree with everything you just said, in fact. However, you've got, Senator McCain saying, listen, you can't just send it out in a tweet. Show us why you believe that. General Hayden, who's going to join us later in our program today, said, oh, you could have called the head of the FBI and asked him the question before making it public.
Look, let me tell you how bad I think this is. And you can ask this of Mike Hayden, who's an old friend of mine and who will disagree with me deeply. 95% of all contributions from federal employees went to Hillary Clinton. 97% of all contributions at the Justice Department. 99% of all contributions at the State Department. You have institutions like the New York Times with columnists saying, please break the law and give us information you're not legally allowed to give us. Why wouldn't you, in that environment, have a pretty deep suspicion that some bad things are going on? You also have, by the way...
I understand the logic you're trying to lay out here, but again, just show us what you've got.
Well, Andy McCarthy, who was the prosecutor in the Justice Department for the World Trade Center bombing in 1993, convicted a whole series of terrorists, has worked on terrorism for over 20 years, wrote a very powerful column pointing out that if you ask yourself, first of all, why would the White House change the rules in January so literally unsubstantiated rumors could now be circulated in the intelligence community knowing that they will be leaked? That's a change in the Obama administration in January. McCarthy goes on to assert that there was an effort, and you have to ask him his exact sources, but this is a guy who was a professional prosecutor in the Justice Department. He says there was an effort in June to get a foreign court order to go after parts of the Trump team. It was turned down. They came back, he claims, in October. McCarthy's a serious person. This is not somebody who's just a political partisan.